Let's get this out of the way first. Oh, I can't have my feet in the video because that's something that
you really shouldn't.
Honestly, dude, that has been going far too long. You cannot put your feet. I've been disgusted by it for
Everyone hates it. You gotta put some socks on, or just don't put your feet in the video. Let's stop the clock. Let's just stop the clock.
No, this all gets put in, dude. This all goes in.
This is the cold open.
I want the audience to know we're not on his side on this. He should not be putting his feet in the
We would
video.
never on his side.
Today, we're doing a completely normal video about the Mandalorian. Something
Best
that's
time of year.
Something that just came out.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
So we all watched The Mandalorian except for Kevin about a year ago when it came out. We had some hot takes
With
at the
bated
time.
breath.
So we're coming in a little late. We wanted to get this in time for season 2.
The second they said that Jon Favreau was the front man, I was like, oh, it's gonna be garbage terrible. Because Jon Favreau is a Disney yes man and he just does whatever they ask him to. Hey, make the Jungle Book. Yeah, sure. I guess. Oh, hey, make the Lion King.
Make the Lion King, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, can you make it like passionately? No, I'm not gonna do that. It'll make $1 billion. But I'm not
Do you want me to make it passionately? No, I don't really care. I don't know why I asked you that.
Iron Man 1, his first Disney shill movie was amazing.
One of the best still
Swingers?
to this day.
But he makes nothing but garbage now. And I was like,
Out.
oh, Mandalorian is going to be a crowd-pleasing, safe, non-risk-taking pile of shit. And I'm very excited to watch it.
So me going in, I don't care about Star Wars. It's just been getting worse and worse. Most Star Wars is terrible. Like, most of it, like actually mathematically, most of it is terrible. And then I found out it's about a Mandalorian series, possibly about Boba Fett, possibly about a new Mandalorian.
You classically
and
hate.
I don't give a crap and think that Boba Fett's terrible.
Oh yeah,
he's a terrible character. 3
people in this video hate Boba Fett. Like, he's the
I do not
worst character
hate
on the
Boba
planet.
Fett, dude. I
That's 2.
Whoa, this spoilers. We hate Boba Fett. The same 2 people on this video who think Boba Fett sucks say with absolute confidence that Jango Fett is a better character in every way. He's got more character.
He's only cooler because he killed a Jedi and he went.
That makes him
And that's
better,
it.
dude. That makes him better.
That's true. He didn't just get knocked into a pit of.
And that's
And
guy. Blind man hit me with stick.
So I went into The Mandalorian with complete hype because everyone had already seen it.
It was 2 things on your shoulder where it's like the rest of the world was like, it's amazing, Kevin, you're gonna love the show. And then the 3 of us were like, no.
Kevin could come around
That's
and be
true.
like,
Kevin could love the show.
yeah.
Who knows?
You'll never know.
If Star Wars is going to continue, I think it needs to scale down. It needs to come away from the big Skywalker shit that kind of bogs down a lot of the Star Wars universe. Scale it down, make it a
But
small.
now Ahsoka Tano's in it.
Because I've kind of hated Star Wars more and more with each passing minute of my life.
Even though we all loved Rise of Skywalker.
But we didn't love it like it was
That's
a good
Star Wars
thing.
for sure.
We didn't love the Rise of
You want to
Skywalker.
rewatch that video we made, dude?
12 out of 12.
12 out of 12. 12 out of 12, obviously. 12 out of 12.
This is my favorite movie. Don't at me, it's great. Fuck The Mandalorian, that show sucks. This movie's awesome and The Mandalorian's
Mandalorian
stupid.
does suck.
And I'm not budging. 12 out of 12, perfect score! Masterpiece!
Mandalorian is so terrible. It's got such an awful main character, such a terrible premise.
We all thought it was going to be scaled. And me and Brian were sitting next to each other watching the show, like 10 in the morning, drinking claws.
It was in the quarantine.
It was in the quarantine.
This was last year.
It was in the quarantine. At the height of the quarantine, we're watching Mandalorian. We're drinking claws 10 in the morning.
It just came out.
It just came out.
And episode 2 rolled in, and then I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I was like, that Yoda right there is going to use the Force in this episode.
And I said, no.
The second they introduced Baby Yoda, I was like, yep, no, it's not going to be scaled down at all.
That's my biggest gripe with it. Character-wise, there is no joy
No.
to be found in The Mandalorian.
No.
I am not happy anytime a character comes on screen. When Carl Weathers shows up and he's reading off the script, he's constantly looking at the table so he can memorize his lines.
My biggest thing with the show is that the Mandalorian is a terrible main character. He's like, and they're doing he's really mysterious, doesn't say much character, but that character is done
They're trying
so
to
well.
make him like a spaghetti western.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be Clint Eastwood.
But Clint Eastwood has a lot of character in all those movies. Like he doesn't, like he says a whole lot more than you think he says in those movies. He has a lot of lines because he's the main character, even though he doesn't say much.
Well, and also his actions speak for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he gets sick joy out of getting one over his opponents.
Yes.
He enjoys
even if it's just
outsmarting
verbally,
people.
even if it's just a verbal thing, and he knows that he's cooler than the other person, you can tell he gets some sort of satisfaction out of that. He has goals in mind throughout every single thing. The whole time I'm watching The Mandalorian, I'm like, what does he want? He doesn't want. He just wants to wander around with his Yoda friend
And
that's exactly what he
his
wants.
ship every time it breaks, and then get tricked. That's all he wants to do his whole life.
And when you watch Fistful of Dollars, the least impressive Dollars trilogy movie, you understand his character completely. He's like, he enjoys pitting these people against each other. He likes the fact that he's like, I'm the smartest person in this town. I'm the best gunslinger in this town. I can just take advantage of everybody, and he likes it.
Yes.
Mandalorian doesn't like being a mercenary. He doesn't like being
hired.
hierarchical.
That he doesn't show his face.
You can do the thing where their face is covered if you make the fact that their face being covered is their character. The Mandalorian has it for a boring reason. Judge Dredd has it for a cartoonish reason. He is the law. Who he is does not matter.
He is the law.
He is not a human being. He is the law.
I watched the first episode, and by then the kind of big thing where it's like, oh, Baby Yoda's in it, has been long spoiled. So it's not like there wasn't any excitement into finding that. And so I get to there, and I'm just like, he has force powers. This is gonna be about force powers. He's gonna have a force thing, and I'm like, okay.
He's probably a real Yoda clone or something.
And then I'm sitting there, and I was like, literally, I can't think of a good reason at all why Baby Yoda would be in this story and be relevant and not affect the big plot in a dumb stupid way, or even if it doesn't affect plot, either way. I was like, oh, there's no way they're gonna do anything good with this.
Important thing to ever happen to Star Wars. You must protect it at all
If you don't protect a child, they'll kill Rey.
And then the second episode happens, and like 5 minutes in, I'm checking my watch. I'm like, what is happening? The only thing that is important in this episode, plot-wise, to the whole rest of the thing is, oh, Baby Yoda has force powers. I said, you could squeeze that in literally anywhere.
You fucking idiot! Story isn't just about the plot, and you don't know anything about storytelling.
That's so funny because story is plot. I like a lot of TV shows that have filler episodes.
You can do
my favorite series of all time is Lost. There are a ton of filler episodes in Lost. Filler episodes happen when the seasons are 23 episodes long, and especially in the good seasons of Lost, there's a lot of plot episodes. Something interesting happens with a character or the plot every episode. They don't just take an episode off like the second episode after the plane crashed on the wrong guy. They're trying to solve. So, anyways, we're just gonna go golfing.
And a lot
for
of
this
times
episode.
the filler episodes in Lost develop the characters.
It's like if you watch the episode of Breaking Bad where Walter White just portrayed Gus, Jesse just portrayed Gus, Jesse's on the run now. How is he gonna get away? What's gonna happen? And then the next episode is Saul going, hey, let's all go play skee ball. Hey, Waltz, let's go play skee ball. And he's like, God damn it, Saul, you know I love skee ball. And they play skee ball the entire episode. And it's not until the end where they're like, Jesse, Gus is after you. Oh, I forgot to call you and tell you that. It's like, why the fuck were you showing me 40 minutes of skee ball?
So we're in episode 2. There's 7 or 8 episodes. They've already done a filler episode. There's not that many.
And immediately that threw me off, and that just continued copy and paste for the bulk of the season. This could have been an 1.5 to 2 hour movie with all the important plot beats kept, and it would have been like fine pacing wise. And they're like, no, we're gonna make it 4 hours or whatever.
We'll just say it's kind of like an old Western show. Western shows they would just have villain of the week stuff.
Pretty much every single episode of the filler episode.
Yes, but it's closer to what I want than any of the movies have been.
That is what I will say. I want to get this out there.
There are things a longer episode than we think.
There are things about it that work. I like very much the return to the kind of sets and the practical things and the animatronic.
On a technical level, none of us disagree that it's amazing.
The show looks cool.
Awesome.
Even the space stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look like a CGI ship in space. It looks like
the technology
a
they
ship
had
in
to
space.
do the sets with like the
it's
backgrounds
amazing.
and stuff.
I would say that background thing is the most trend-setting, advancing Star Wars has done since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Music's also good.
Oh yeah, music's freaking sweet.
The Mandalorian is boring. Even if you think he's cool, even if you think his armor's cool, even if you think Mandalorians are badass, he's a boring fucking character. The only charming thing he has is that he likes Baby Yoda, and you know you're grasping, like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Everyone likes Baby
when
Yoda.
the only thing you can attribute to your character is that he likes an adorable little thing. Logan, Wolverine sees how like violent this girl is, and is like, I don't want her to turn out like that. And like, there's a better future for her because I want there to be a better future for me.
And on that, most of them
killing a bunch of people.
Most of them use that framework to frame a redemption arc.
Yes.
This innocent person protecting them will redeem all the horrible things I've done. The Mandalorian doesn't do anything worse because he only kills criminals.
And they kind of establish Mandalorian as being pretty sweet because he does this little like thing where he
cuts
cuts the guy in half. And he's
Yeah,
like,
that was cool.
cold or whatever, I'm taking you in.
Yeah.
He steals the RoboCop line, basically.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, Mandalorian's kind of cool. Like, let's see what he does.
Okay,
And
yeah, that's a fine
second
introduction.
Episode, 5 minutes in, he gets like bested by a bunch of Jawas. He climbs up the side of it, and they're
Ow!
just
It
And
also
then a
rocks him.
dinosaur beats the shit out of him.
Okay, you're already wasting my time. Like, I just want to get to the next. I don't care about any of this Jawa shit. I want to get on with the story.
Yeah.
Like, you just introduced something huge. I want to see what happens next after that.
Great episode that we all hate. That these new characters are bullying the Mandalorian. Like,
You're literally like, take your helmet off, gay ass. You stupid. You wear your helmet because you're
they
gay.
literally have a part where they take Baby Yoda and like, oh, what, you like this? And they play catch with it. And like, oh, try to get the Baby Yoda. And he's like, stop, guys, quit it.
This is what they fundamentally got wrong about the Clint Eastwood, the man with no name type character. Is Clint Eastwood would have shot
that's the thing. That's when we were watching it. I was like, I would love it in this episode if he just shut them all up by just killing one of them.
Or just killed one.
If he just killed one of them, it's like, I'm not messing around. I'm a badass. Do not take my baby away from me. All of that.
And the man with no name comes in the village, and those people bully him at the beginning. They treat him like shit. And they're like, oh my god, they treat him like shit.
Yeah.
And then Clint Eastwood proceeds to say the most badass shit on the planet. He says, get 3 coffins ready, and then he kills 4 people. One of them probably didn't even bully him. He was just like, oh, he's killing my friends. And then the man with no name shoots him in the fucking chest. And he goes, oh, it looks like he should have got four coffins. Because the man with no name has to be treated like a credible threat.
Yes.
He is a badass character. You don't fuck with
But
him.
we're like 4 episodes in. He's been tricked and saved in every episode.
Yeah, a dinosaur.
And then now
almost
he's
killed
being
him.
bullied by Bill Burr and his friends.
Yeah, he's being bullied by Bill Burr, a man who is not an actor.
I'm like, no, in the first episode he's impenetrable, and then in the second episode he's a goofy idiot, and it's like, no.
The show wants you to think at the end of the day still that the Mandalorian's a badass. Like, that's the big flaw.
Bill Burr episode.
You introduce the character as a badass, you can go one of 2 routes. You subvert
And-
that,
but
or you escalate.
In that first scene, exactly. That could be the whole review. That sentence
That's the
right
whole
there
review.
could be the whole
Yeah, there
review
you
of the
If
show.
you introduce a character as a badass, you can do one of 2 things. You
And
can
the
subvert
Mandalorian
it,
does neither.
or escalate it, and it does neither. They say, actually, he's retarded. But we're gonna keep telling you he's badass. Other characters are gonna be like, you're the Mandalorian.
You're the
most
greatest human being
badass
that's
man
ever
who's
lived.
ever lived.
I
Anyway,
am
this-
honored to save your life.
The real reason why the Mandalorian is terrible is the man who single-handedly destroyed the Star Wars mythos, and his name is Dave Filoni.
Candidly,
I don't know about single handedly, dude. There's been a lot of hands.
I would actually say that almost everyone that
destroying
touches Star Wars wants to
Let's do
destroy.
a Photoshop picture of Ryan Johnson and Dave Filoni high five.
I want you to imagine.
And George Lucas, they're like below them.
So I want you to imagine.
And J.J. Abrams is trying to save it. He's trying to save. He's he's got the ball.
J.J. Abrams is running away with the football in the picture. And then John Favreau just on the side. I
He's got
approve
a
of
sniper
this.
trained on.
I'm gonna craft a
J.J.
scenario for you.
Abrams.
I'm gonna craft a scenario for you.
People are gonna hate us.
Kathleen Kennedy is trying to shoot
You're
J.J.
you're
Abrams.
you're a
It's
nice.
like, I got him in my scope.
You're a nice. If you watch an interview with Dave Filoni, you're like, that guy is like every other stupid nerd with terrible Star Wars opinions I've ever met. Why is he in charge of
He has the
making
worst,
so much
the
Star Wars?
worst trait of all Star Wars fans, and it's the fact that he'll watch something and then he'll ignore what he's actually seeing and then make up something better in his mind. We watched the behind the scenes with them like sitting at the table and stuff, and all the stuff with Dave Filoni, it is super sad because he starts out by saying, I sat down in a room with George Lucas before Clone Wars, and he was like, hey, imagine we're in a Jedi, non-Jedi situation. I have a lightsaber on the table. I call the shots, Dave Filoni. You're just going to be my puppet. And then Dave Filoni's like, that
This
was the
was when-
greatest moment of my life.
I pledge myself to your teachings.
And Dave Filoni got the job as showrunner because Dave Filoni basically said, yes, I will not take any risks. I'll do whatever you say because I love Star Wars and I will never defy you.
There's a great part in the behind the scenes with Dave Filoni where he describes the dual fates at the end of Phantom Menace and how it's one of the most important parts of Star Wars. And every single person on this round table are like,
Oh yeah, if you watch that interview where he's talking about that, Jon Favreau is checking his Twitter, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, Babe or whatever is talking about Star Wars."
clip.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like
to look for that one.
let me try
Taika
to do my
Waititi
best.
does not say anything at all.
Taika Waititi, they also don't cut to him. Taika Waititi directs the last episode, and it starts out pretty good. It has that weird little dialogue exchange with those two.
With the two scout
and
trooper
they
guys.
miss
The red
the-
versus blue.
Yeah,
scene.
yeah, it's just a.
Well, also because at that point the show has stabbed you in the chest several times with filler episodes. When that moment happens, you're just like, "Can we just get to the plot thing?"
Yeah, wait, I've been here
Please?
for 8 hours. I want
This
to
is funny, but I don't care anymore.
If you could say to a person, like, what does that matter? Who cares? Yeah, they can have their cake and eat it too. It's a fun show. I like The Mandalorian. Why is that such a big deal? Why do you have to hate everything?
Here's the thing: if people like it just because it's Star Wars and it's got laser beams in it, and the Mandalorian says that's my line, and he saves Baby Yoda, fine, whatever. I'm saying if you want something more in depth, which we want, something based on character,
Something that's actually good
Something
that
that's
you'll
not
remember.
there's
boring every
nothing
second.
here. If you love McDonald's, great, that's
Yes.
fine. But if you want something of substance that's gonna stick with you and because people don't talk about the Mandalorian in any sense besides Baby Yoda is cute, Mandalorian's badass. They don't talk about the writing, the dialogue. They don't talk about any of that shit. But watch Goblins. Goblin Slayer is very similar as a character to the Mandalorian. Goblin Slayer.
Get a glass of water while he talks about Goblin. It's
Cool,
gonna be
that's
10
fine.
minutes of
Goblin Slayer, similar to the Mandalorian, is a guy who never takes his helmet off. Everyone thinks he's
Doesn't
a creepy,
talk much.
Doesn't talk much. Everyone thinks he's a creepy weirdo. Goblin Slayer is a badass. He'll kill any goblin he sees. He never gets tricked because his only interest is killing goblins. And you might think, oh, that's a boring character, but the
Which
show's
we
like,
thought when we went into, we were like,
that's
I
gonna
mean,
get old
that's
fast.
gonna get old pretty fast.
But if you give yourself that challenge where you're like, your character, everything they do has to lead to the fact that they want to kill goblins. That is their goal.
And
That
there's
is their
there's
number one desire.
episodes that happen where you're watching it like, oh man, so this isn't about killing goblins. And then by the end of it, he's like, I did all of
I
this
can
to kill
use
goblins.
this to kill goblins. It makes him more of an interesting character because you know what his goal is. You know what he wants in any given scene. In any given scene, and he'll change it up. He'll be nice, he'll be polite, he'll be rude, he'll be mean. He'll change how he responds to people based on his goal of killing goblins. Because it'll help him learn how to kill goblins.
The entire
He literally...
time, I just walked in and Kevin's like looking off into the distance. The entire time you talk about Goblin Slayer, it's just gonna be on Kevin's face.
I wasn't like that the whole time.
Final thoughts. I hated his face reveal at the end because it was just what's the actor's name again?
Pedro Pascal.
It's just Pedro Pascal. And
Yeah,
they're
he's
like,
not even missing
they
his
have this
tongue.
big moment and they reveal his face and I was like, oh, what's he gonna look like? And it's like, oh, it's just the actor. I already knew what he looked like.
The last thing I want to bother saying
Let's wrap this up.
is for a few dollars more in that movie. Great movie. Great movie. And clearly part of the inspiration for this series.
Yes.
So it's a worthy comparison.
Yeah.
You don't just have Clint Eastwood, you have Lee Van Cleef. And Lee Van Cleef is the character that ultimately ends up kind of being more the Mandalorian type. Because he goes out there and he's after this guy and he's shooting people. But like, you're following his character though, because you know what his goal is. You know his goal is to get this guy. You do not know why, but you know everything he does is in aid of that goal and to reach that goal. So okay, I get it. I don't know why, but they keep alluding that something is happening. And when it's all revealed, you didn't feel like it took forever to get why he was doing what he was doing. You're just like, oh, that's a really great reason,
Kevin,
and it's a reason I wasn't expecting.
You can like this show. We're not saying that like there's no reason not to like it.
There's
for
a lot
what
of
we
technical things that are
for
cool.
what we want in a show like this, it misses the mark dramatically. If you like McDonald's, it's fine. We eat McDonald's because we review the diarrhea we get at the end of it. I just want to nip that in the butt because I don't want to like pretend like, oh, this show was made for us and it betrayed. We're not.
That being said, I'm excited to get diarrhea next season.
Yeah, that's I don't like hate the show. Like Star Wars has done me worse
I would agree.
than the Mandalorian.
The music's good.
Yeah, the music's good. The effects are all incredible, and there are moments sprinkled throughout that I do really like. Also, same length, same episode length, same amount of episodes. Barry.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you didn't unsubscribe, thanks for
awesome if
sticking
you
around.
did.
You gotta have
understand.
subscribers first, idiot.
Here's the problem with us is that we're completely impossible to please.
I think we get the video there. Because especially now with like how